Today we have with us Ilana Dunn, who is a New York Times top dating podcaster. She's a content creator, and she's just overall a marketing genius. She formerly worked at Hinge as one of their first hires and then left Hinge. I don't know how you want me to say that.
Got kicked out the door.
Kicked out the
I got
door
laid
of
off.
Hinge.
I got let go.
And then ended up starting a podcast with a friend and later had her own podcast.
The proper way to actually say it is I got dumped by Hinge.
That's a great way of putting it.
Yeah, Hinge broke up with me.
Designed to be fired
Yeah.
and deleted.
Yeah.
Oh, and her podcast is Seeing Other People, which I'm sure if you're listening to this, you're also already familiar with her. Thanks, guys.
How was that?
Great. I'm really excited to be here.
Any notes?
I don't know.
Feedback?
No notes. So good.
Also, this is a very full circle moment because I don't know if you remember this, but I was thinking about this earlier. When you had your co-host of your podcast, Seeing Other People, he then left. Mm-hmm. And then you had your first guests on as a solo podcast host, and it was us.
What? We were the first?
I believe that.
What was the original one called?
Seeing Other People.
Oh, Dating Sucks. I had a podcast prior to Seeing Other People that I created at Hinge for Hinge called Dating Sucks.
Yes. So did your co-host work at Hinge as well?
No.
Okay.
I said to my boss, I want to start a podcast and I want to have an older male co-host. And to my surprise, he said, okay, do you have anyone in mind? I was like, oh. And then I started thinking, and Jonah Feingold, he has a incredible movie coming out very soon. So definitely look him up, check it out. It's going to be awesome. He's really crushing it. I'm very proud of him. He and I had gone on a few dates and we had gone from being interested in each other romantically to genuinely being friends. And when we were going on dates, we would talk about dating together. We loved to talk about dating. And so I was like, you know what? He's older. He's male. He used to have a podcast with his sister. I feel like Jonah would want to do this. And I called him up and I was like, crazy idea. Hear me out. Do you want to co-host a podcast with me for Hinge? And he was like, when and where?
Wow.
He had no reservations about it?
None.
And did Hinge compensate you guys for the podcast? Like, he wasn't their employee.
He was probably paid a little bit of money. Yeah, he was definitely paid a little. I wasn't. It was just part of my work.
Which is kind of not okay because it wasn't It wasn't initially on your plate. And
no, and it was something I was doing honestly at nights and on weekends, but I loved it. When I got my job at Hinge, which was really the first time I was on camera or some form of a personality, I had really never done this before. I was working in the music industry. I was very much a behind the camera person. And I applied to this job while I was applying to 100 jobs for 6 months. And I got it. And when I got there, they were like, okay, you're here, go do. And I'm like, go do what? And they're like, go make content, go be on camera. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I've never done this before.
What was the status of Hinge at that point? Like, where was Hinge in its lifespan?
Hinge was no longer the Friends of Friends app. It had just become designed to be deleted. But Hinge was the number one dating app. Like, part of the reason I wanted to work there was because it was the dating app I used. And I realized, like, oh, wow, like, I might also grow as a side effect of this. Like, I think in the back of my mind, I always wanted to be like Hannah Montana. You know, like, I would have loved to be Hannah Montana, but that was never going to happen.
You can still be. You can still be.
You've heard me sing.
Yeah, that's true.
I have a chance.
You have a chance. Yes, Danielle has a chance.
Relax, Miley.
So it wasn't that I was working for years as a YouTuber and trying to put all this content out and grow my audience. But the more I started creating content, the more I got comfortable in front of the camera, the more people started to, you know, give me positive feedback and positive reinforcement. Yeah, the more I wanted to grow and the more I wanted to become a big content creator.
Since becoming so public and posting so much of yourself and your content is you, I would love to learn insecurities that have been exacerbated by it and also ways that your self-esteem has been built up from it.
Let's start with the bad. It's probably a longer list. I do remember this happened when on the Hinge content, but I got a lot of hate comments about my ears. Have I ever told you guys this?
No. I love your ears.
No.
I'm not going to read all the comments, but like hundreds of comments
no,
about my ears.
No, also delete those comments.
Oh, I think they're funny. Here's the thing. When I was younger, I was very self-conscious about my ears. And I'm just so thankful that, like, physically, people picking out my physical appearance, I'm very grateful that it was my ears and not something I'm self-conscious of, like my stomach or my arms. Like, if people were like, oh, she has like really fat arms, she shouldn't be like on camera. Like that would destroy me. But aesthetically, I feel very lucky that that is what the internet decided to focus on. I mean, I think it's very hard when it comes to comparing yourself to others, whether it's, you know, somebody's growing faster than you or somebody it looks better than you, whether it's, you know, their size or what they wear or how their hair is done. Like, I think I always was very hard on myself for that. Like, I'm not good enough or pretty enough or skinny enough to be on camera versus so many other people I saw. So that has definitely been something I've struggled with over the years. And I think there are certain things that, like, don't bother me. But when people question, like, my character or try and tear down what I'm saying or like, a personal story that I'm sharing, that makes me not want to share. Like, that is really hard because I am putting myself out there. I am being really vulnerable. And, you know, I'm not doing it for the sake of doing it. I'm doing it because I've been told that it helps people.
Do you reach out to those people ever? Like, do you ever try to explain yourself?
I probably used to. Now I definitely don't. I think what bothers me the most is when I'll get like a 1-star review on the podcast and it's like someone's picking apart one thing I said or something that a guest said. And it's like, that's there forever. And that actually does impact if other people are going to listen to this podcast or not. Yeah. And I don't get to know who the person is. You know, they're hiding behind a random name and there's no opportunity for me to respond.
You can't respond?
No.
Wow.
And there's no way to delete them at all.
Wow.
They're permanently there forever.
Wow. Okay, take notes on that.
Yeah.
Seriously.
No, it's so hurtful with the app. When people leave a negative review in the app, we are lucky that we can reply back to it. And most of the time we offer to speak with them about what it was that they experienced, why they had a bad experience. And their tune totally changes when it becomes like a private email or a video call. Yeah. They're so lovely. They're so nice. They like didn't understand that it was just like a 2-person startup. Yeah. And when they're just anonymous and writing reviews, they are nasty.
Yeah. It's awful.
So, okay, on a more positive note, you said that you were told that it helps people, but personally with you, your self-esteem, what has it made you feel really good about yourself? In what ways has it helped your self-esteem?
Yeah, what assets have come to light?
I think I used to think I was too much for a lot of people. And with how much of me is out there now and knowing that, like, sure, I'm not going to be for everybody. Nobody's for everybody. But apparently I am for a lot of people. That makes me feel really good about who I am. And I think, if anything, I've just become more myself and I am completely unapologetically myself. Because, okay, like, why do I have to pretend to be somebody else? Why do I have to, you know, shrink myself down? Like, no, I'm going to be exactly who I am. I think that's also how I approach dating and how I approach, like, my whole life. And so I think it is really cool that there are so many people out there who have embraced me for exactly who I am. And it feels really cool. Like, that does feel really, really, really cool.
It is really, really, really cool.
It's really awesome. And I can tell you, you have such a special gift. The way that you are able to talk to people, make people feel so heard and understood, your empathy, like you're really doing exactly what you're meant to be doing. Even if you never saw yourself as a podcaster, it's the specific type of podcast that you do that you're meant to be doing and the content that you create and the way you interact with your audience, like even through your stories and your polls and stuff, the way you interact with your audience.
You are a gem of a human. You are so down to earth. It is so refreshing and so nice. And it's so genuine. The content that you make for the world to see is truly who you are.
Yeah.
I actually share this all the time when I go on other podcasts or when I'm talking to people about, like, friendship changing in your 20s and, you know, choosing who you spend your time with. I reference, it was probably one of the first times that the three of us actually, like, hung out and, like, had dinner or something. And I was like, I left just, like, feeling so happy and uplifted. And I didn't have a single second of, like, oh, I just walked out and they're still together because, like, they go home together. Yeah. Like, are they talking shit about me? It was like, oh, like, I'm obsessed with them, and I feel obsessed with me after hanging out with them. And like, wait a second, this is so cool. Hold on. This is what friendship should feel like.
Yeah.
Why do I spend time with people where I leave and I question, are they talking shit about me?
Yeah.
Or if I don't show up, I'm going to think, oh no, they're sitting there talking about Ilana.
Yeah.
And that, I think, really like changed my life. And it was literally like, with you guys. And I talk about this so often.
I love that you walked away from that being obsessed with yourself. That is like the best compliment because we thrive. We love to make people feel good about themselves.
You're so
because
good at it.
They because everyone should. Like, life is really
Yeah.
hard. And like you were saying before, like, you don't need to be mean to people. There's no point. And so I feel like mission accomplished.
Yeah, it feels so good to make other people feel good about themselves.
Yeah.
Like, I have a rule of thumb that if I am thinking something nice about a person, that I should just say it out loud.
I love that.
Because why wouldn't you tell them?
100%.
Why would you if you're thinking something nice, you already got that far, you already thought it, just say it.
It could turn someone's whole day around. It could turn someone's life around.
Right.
Especially, we never know what anyone else is going through. And yeah, Julie, you're right. Like, life is so hard. It is so hard. And a little bit can go a really long way.
Yeah.
Okay, so going back to what we were talking about before, which is when you make your living by putting yourself out there and letting the world comment what they want to comment and say what they want to say and troll you, and it's the worst thing ever sometimes and also the greatest thing ever other times. What would you say to people who are coming out of college or are going to, what is it, Syracuse now has the content creation major, whatever it is?
You know that?
Do I know that? You guys, I'm like literally the face of it.
She's a new house
The
story.
reason I know about it. Yeah. But
No, like,
your story.
like if you go on the websites, I noticed this yesterday, you go on the
it's
website
you.
for it and you scroll and it's my face.
There you go.
Me.
There you go.
There's also you, who I found content from.
So if you were going to guest lecture,
Yeah.
which you probably will,
Yep.
at that program, what would you tell people? Not in terms of this is how you're going to be successful, this is how you're going to monetize it, but in terms of like a human, like you're a human being and people are going to be really mean to you. How would you guide people?
Yeah.
People come to me all the time and say, I want to be a content creator. I want to be an influencer. I want to be a podcast host. How do I grow on social media? And I say every single time, I would never recommend this to anybody. I would not recommend people chase after this goal of being an influencer, being a content creator. If the reason behind it is because you want to be an influencer. If you are so passionate about creating content, if you are passionate about creating content about a certain topic,
Yeah.
that is what you should chase.
Yeah, exactly.
Create the content about animals, create the content about dating, about mental health, about fitness, about whatever it is that you're passionate about, because you find value in it, because it helps you connect with other people, because you saw this video that changed your life and you want to create videos that are going to change someone else's life. There has to be a deeper meaning to it than just wanting to have followers, wanting to get free stuff, and wanting to have a flexible schedule. If that's what you're after, absolutely, positively, find something else to do with your life. It's so hard. You might have months where you don't get a single brand deal. You don't get a single paycheck. And the easiest thing to do is say, okay, well, I'm going to go apply to jobs because I have to. But if you've committed to yourself and to doing this, you have to kind of check yourself and remember why you're doing this.
How would you tell them to go about negative comments that they get on their content? Because Danielle and I handle it differently. I'm like, delete it. I don't want to see that. Like, I just don't want that in my space. And Danielle's like,
No, let it be public.
Let it be. And she's like, it's uncool to delete trolling comments.
It's uncool to delete, and it's also embarrassing for that person that they said something nasty. So I'm going to leave it there and let you embarrass yourself by having your negative comment there.
Everybody has a different way of going about it. I think for me, it depends on the comment. There are also times where, not to get political, but like after October 7th, when I posted that I was Jewish, I was getting death threats. And some people would, I know people who were like, fight back. Like, here's a script that I'm saying back to people. And other people were like, just block, block, block. Other people were like, don't let that stop you from posting content about what you believe in. And for me, my reality was what was best for me was to not respond to those people and to not continue to post content that made me fear,
Yeah.
not necessarily my life, but when there are numerous people in your DMs telling you that A, you deserve to die, B, they're going to find you and like hurt you. Like, yeah, I was fearing a lot of things. I was afraid to live in a not doorman building in Manhattan where my name was on the mailbox thing outside. So it depends. Obviously, that's one drastic example, but for me, not engaging is the best thing. I also have a folder. I don't really do this anymore, but I used to, and this did help me. I have a folder in my phone called You're Doing Great, and I used to screenshot positive comments I would get, positive reviews, positive DMs or emails of feedback from people saying that something I said or did or posted helped them, or that they love my content, they love the podcast, they've been listening for however many years. I used to screenshot those things and put it into this folder. So if I would have a day where I was feeling really down or getting hate comments and it was making me like, you know, get in my head, I could just look at that folder and be like, okay, that's one comment. Here's like 150 of these and these are what matter. Like, these are the people that I'm trying to engage with and interact with, not that person. I also think the piece of advice, don't take criticism from anybody you wouldn't take advice from, is really profound.
Everything that you said, I completely agree with. And now I'm thinking about this program at Syracuse that's going to get started, and I'm sure other universities are going to follow suit. And becoming a content creator is going to be a degree that you get, and it's going to be such a saturated market.
It already is.
How are people going to be able to break through and make it? Like, the people that exist now that are the influencers and the celebrities, they got started way before everybody wanted to do it.
But I don't think that it's like there are going to be too many content creators and not enough jobs. I think that budget from brands will just be reallocated from advertising and marketing companies and, you know, out-of-home ads to content creators, because there will be so many that will be where they put their money. However, as a consumer in the world of content, of content, being somebody who is an Instagram user and a TikTok user, how am I going to enjoy my experience in 3 to 5 years from now when literally the entire experience is sponsored content?
It's really not going to be that much different than it is now, I think,
really
from the consumer's perspective, because everything is so specific to you. Like, already you're being served the content for you. Like, the crazy thing about it is, like, there are probably over 1 million videos about like people obsessed with Starbucks cups, or like whatever material is on this couch, or hair ties that look like squiggles or something. Like, there's so much content out there. Anything, ants. There are probably like 1 million accounts about ants.
Yes.
And 1 million accounts about like seagulls. There's so much content out there, but we don't see that content because that's not the content that we're searching for. And I mean, the majority of content that we do see, maybe not the majority, but there is so much sponsored content out there. I think I can't tell you how much it's going to change. I think in terms of, you know, the oversaturation, like, that I am afraid of, because I already feel like it is so oversaturated, but I don't think, not everyone's meant to do this. What scares me, and this is what I pulled up and I wanted to share, Jake and I talked about this on a recent episode, but a report from 2025 reveals that over 30% of 12 to 15-year-olds aspire to be YouTubers, marking it as their top career choice. That's from Fortune. A 2024 survey by Adobe found that 1 in 3 individuals age 18 to 30 desire to become influencers, with gaming and lifestyle being the most popular niches.
I also saw those articles, and that's why I was thinking about this, because not only does everyone want to do it, not everyone, but a lot of people want to do it, they're also now creating an education for it. And what used to be, what will have one spin the most competitive majors will probably become the content creation influencer major. What would be so competitive? Again, you probably are going to have to start like auditioning for it, like the same way you do for Juilliard. It's going to become so competitive because everyone's going to want to do it.
What's interesting, though, is that the people who are in it now didn't have a formal education in it. And that's what concerns me. Like, I remember when I was a freshman at Syracuse, I was in Newhouse, their communications school, and I I remember being there on like the first week through orientation, and they're like, okay, you have to pick a minor outside of Newhouse. You are not allowed to minor in Newhouse. And I'm like, but I want to minor. I want to take every major in Newhouse. I just want to learn communications.
What do you want to minor in?
I wanted to minor just in Newhouse. Like I didn't even know. I just like my major was television, radio, film. I would have minored in like literally anything in Newhouse. I just didn't want. I wanted to just be communications, which is really just media. And I was really frustrated by that. And then I remember them explaining the why. And they were like, we want you to learn how to communicate about something.
Yeah.
I didn't understand it at the time because I was very frustrated by it because I was just so excited to be in that environment. And then it's so funny. I ended up minoring in music business. And I mean, my whole life, I have no idea. Obviously, that's not what I am pursuing now, but it fully led me to where I am now. And I was so passionate about music and the music industry. And like, that is what I did out of college. And so that's what I'm really curious to see how, you know, the space evolves with people just trying to be influencers for the sake of being influencers. It's like, but you have to have passions. You have to have interests. You have to have something that you're talking about.
I also wonder if the quality of actors will diminish over time because who would have gone into film to make movies will become famous more so on social media because I feel like even the quality of shows has, I mean, there's some bangers, but a lot of shows kind of suck. Like lately movies have not been that great. No one really goes to the movies anymore. It's not where the eyeballs are.
What's interesting is I'm thinking of like the shows that I've really enjoyed watching lately. Like right now I'm finishing Task. I love Severance. I'm excited for Stranger Things to come back. Like they're these slower shows that you really have to lock in and focus on.
Attention.
And they've actually like I think those shows are doing something different than what the majority of television and movies are doing right now, which is like you're not on one shot for more than 7 seconds. There are so many more cuts now because people can't pay attention for that long.
Yes.
And I think that's why things don't feel as good anymore because it's so like our attention spans have changed so much that we can't focus on one scene, one conversation, one person at a time. And so they're trying to keep up with that. But I think the the television shows and movies that we enjoy the most and that everybody does obsess over the most are the ones that are the way they used to be.
So interesting what you were saying earlier about how you're already being served all the things that are just like inundating you with what you're interested in. But I just feel like I am at a point where I'm very frustrated when I realize something is an ad. Like there are a lot of those TikTok swipe photo things.
Yeah.
Where I find out on like the third slide that it's an ad.
Which technically that's illegal. The brands that I partner with, some, like I know that some are way looser and some really follow the FTC guidelines, but the ones that follow the FTC guidelines, it's even in a video, I have to say in the first 5 seconds that it's a partnership or in partnership with or sponsored by, and I have to have an overlay that says hashtag ad. And like hashtag whatever their ambassador or brand partner hashtag is on a video in the first 5 seconds. I have to both say it and show it in case people aren't listening with sound or are only listening. And it's supposed to be in the first line of the caption.
Wow.
So technically you are supposed to know what's an ad.
Yeah. It's so frustrating when you don't know.
Yeah.
And it's like, I feel like everything is an ad.
It is, because even when it's not, like for example, I'm trying to think of something that I'm wearing right now. Yesterday, I posted something that, I just bought this thing called the Brick, which is it's this little device. It's like a square-inch cube. And when you tap your phone to it, it blocks you out of apps that you've selected. So I'm going to select, it hasn't come yet, but like Instagram and TikTok, I want to be blocked out of. And you can't get back into them until you physically go and tap the Brick again. And so it's like, it's making that separation of you have to actually get up and do an action to really consciously decide that you do want to go back on the apps. And
do we need FTC guidelines? Is this an ad?
This is not an ad. I purchased it with my own money yesterday. I'm very excited for it. But I posted a story and tagged them in it saying like, I just bought this. I'm very excited to use it for this, that, and the other reason because I want to get a partnership with them. So that's the thing. Like even it's not an ad, but the goal is that it will become one.
Yes.
That's why I'm posting it.
Yes. It's a delicate balance.
Yeah.
Because you need to make a living. This is your career. You need to make a living. But to Danielle's point, the more ad your content becomes, the more frustrating it is for your consumer. And that's a very delicate balance as the creator for how much ad content you want to put out versus native content. Yeah.
I think it's about making sure that the brands you are working with and the products you are promoting genuinely are ones that you use and love, because then it'll feel more organic. B, your audience will know, like they'll be happy for you that you got this partnership because it's a big deal because they know that you've been obsessed with this thing for so long. But just like anything, it's like just, you know, if you're getting all booked up and you're a therapist, like you start charging more.
Right.
That's what people really have to do. But a lot of brands will be like, oh, well, we can't pay, like this is our max, and then you have to decide, do I want to do it or not? And it's a very unpredictable field, so you say yes.
So knowing what you know now, would you still go into the same career that you went into?
I think my reasons behind doing what I do now were so genuine and pure, and I do think this is what I was meant to do. Again, I do not recommend it to most people, but I feel really grateful that it's what I do. I'm so glad I found it and that it found me. And I'm really lucky that I made it work.
Well, we're grateful that you do it too, because we wouldn't have met you otherwise. Thank you so much for being our first guest.
Thank you.
And you
5-star review for you guys.
Thank you so much. And you have a really exciting thing coming up, which is that you are running the New York City Marathon.
Yes. Like, what's kind
And so I've learned this from you. So where can everyone follow you and find you so that they can cheer you on while you're running?
Well, if they want to cheer me on while I'm running, I have a bib number.
Cheer on. Amazing.
60-110.
And then where can everyone find your content that we love so
where
much?
you can find me not on the marathon route is at Ilana Dunn or at Seeing Other People and Seeing Other People podcast.
Thank you.
Cheers.